Hello, welcome to McDoll's Strategy and Tactics, and thank you to our subscribers. In this series we play through each of the battles in the American Grand Campaign in Close Combat 4, the Battle of the Bulge. We use historical World War II US Army doctrine to plan and conduct each battle. We start on the strategic map. It is 0800 hours on December 21, 1944, and the weather is overcast. Artillery has been allocated, with 2 fire missions in reserve for the afternoon. There is no air support, and no supply drops. In the last episode, the US 7th Armored Division fought Kampfgruppe Waldenberg of the 116th Panzer Division at Duisburg. The result was a total American victory, and the German Kampfgruppe was forced to disband. The next battle is at Weiler between the US 10th Armored Division and the German Kampfgruppe von Bohm from 2nd Panzer Division. We've not been in Weiler since the engineers were forced back at the beginning of the campaign. Commander, Weiler is a small village, but it straddles an important route and therefore must be defended. The buildings and the woods both provide good cover. Focus your defence on the crossroads to the east, but don't forget your flanks. It is crucial that you delay the enemy for as long as possible. On the US side is an American armoured battle group from the 10th Armoured Division under command of Captain Cherry. It moves fast and reserves are full. The company consists of 3 platoons. First platoon is a tank platoon, second platoon is an infantry platoon, and third platoon is a support platoon with 3 tanks and 2 half-tracks. The original squads from the last battle retain their names and statistics. Let's rename the new squads off camera. Now let's review each of the squads. 3-1 is 3rd Platoon Headquarters Command Sherman. 1-1 is 1st Platoon Headquarters Command Sherman. 2-1 is 2nd Platoon Headquarters. 2-2 is a rifle squad. 2-3 is a rifle squad. 1-4 is an M4 Sherman 75mm medium tank. 1-3 is also an M4 Sherman 75mm tank. 1-2 is also an M4 Sherman 75mm. 3-3 is an M5 Stuart 37mm light tank. 3-2 is also an M5 Stuart. 1-5 is an M7 Priest 105mm self-propelled howitzer. 3-5 is an M21 81mm mortar motor carriage. 3-4 is an M3 heavy machine gun half-track. 2-5 is a Browning 30 caliber medium machine gun. And 2-4 is an M9 bazooka team. Next, let's look at the map and conduct a commander's estimate of the situation. Our mission is to defend Weiler. The village of Weiler sits at the crossroads between roads to Longvalley to the west, Wiltz to the southwest, the Siegfried Line to the south, the Reich to the east, and Duisburg to the northeast. In general terms, the terrain is higher in elevation to the east, and the slope falls away to the west. The area immediately around the village is open, but beyond a couple of 100 metres, all is snowy wooded hills. North of Weiler is Hill 419. To the southwest is Hill 425. Observation is generally good over the open areas, but limited in the woods. The woods provide good concealment, particularly for dug-in infantry, but only limited cover. The wooden buildings in the village are not much better. The wooded hills restrict vehicle movement to the roads and open fields, although infantry have no such constraints. Vehicle movement through the trees is slow, and bogging is a constant risk. As such, the crossroads to the east and the T-junction to the west are both key terrain. Both locations control movement beyond the village. Avenues of approach from the east include the road and open fields for vehicles, and for infantry, through the woods on the slope of Hill 419 or through the woods to the south. The Americans are expecting contact with Kampfgruppe von Bohm from 2nd Panzer Division, so we can expect the Germans to bring at least a troop of panzers along with Sonderkofferzeug half-tracks and supporting Panzergrenadier infantry. The Germans are advancing from the east along the road to the Reich, and the village is the likely German objective. The Germans could conduct an infantry-led attack. The Germans could move their panzers up the road to Duisburg and down the dirt track to the northwest, then through some light woods to seize Hill 419 north of the village. This would form a support by fire location, dominating the village below and the open fields beyond. With panzers in overwatch, the Panzergrenadier infantry, supported by Sonderkofferzeug, could conduct a deliberate clearance operation, starting in a forming up point in the woods to the east and clearing east-west through the village, isolating and destroying any pockets of resistance along the way. This is a traditional infantry assault. The killing zone would be around the road to Duisburg to the northeast, to disrupt the German panzers en route to Hill 419. Or the Germans could conduct a panzer-led attack. The Sonderkofferzeug could move through the woods to the south to set up a support by fire position on the edge of the tree line, firing into the southern side of the village. The panzers could then form a solid steel mass and overrun the village at speed, destroying everything in their path. The Panzergrenadier would follow them and mop up any surviving pockets of resistance. The killing zone would be the crossroads to the east, where the panzers would be likely to emerge into the open, nicely bunched up. One option for the Americans is to organise and occupy a defensive position. The infantry of 2nd Platoon would anchor the defence of Weiler, occupying blocking positions in the village buildings. The tanks of 1st Platoon would occupy Hill 419, preempting any German move on the high ground. 1st Platoon would use Hill 419 for the same purpose as the Germans, as a support by fire position, putting flanking fire into German forces moving east-west. The Command Sherman and 2 Stuart tanks of 3rd Platoon would occupy a similar support by fire position on Hill 425 to the southwest. They would cover the open ground and put frontal fire onto attacking German forces. This plan would disperse forces but concentrate fires, making it harder for the Germans to respond. Another option for the Americans is to conduct a counterattack. Once again, the infantry of 2nd Platoon would anchor the defence of Weiler, occupying blocking positions in the village buildings. They would be reinforced by the Stuart tanks of 3rd Platoon. 3rd Platoon's Command Sherman and the Priest would occupy a spoiling position in the woods adjoining the road to Duisburg to fix enemy forces, firing at any targets of opportunity that would alert the Americans to any move north. The remaining half-tracks of 3rd Platoon would occupy a reserve along the road to Longvalley. 1st Platoon would form a firing line to the southwest of the open ground, where the ground drops away to the wooded slopes. Firing from hull-down positions in echelon right formation, they would concentrate fire on the crossroads to the east. If the Germans attack west, they would be met with devastating concentrated tank fire that would break up the attack. If the Germans attack north, the Shermans would surge forward and catch them in the rear. Either way, this plan would allow the Americans to seize any opportunity to counterattack and seize the road to the Reich. I have made my decision and have placed the platoons and squads in position. I have chosen to counterattack. First platoon in echelon right, occupying a firing line in hull-down positions. With the priest detached north. Second platoon occupying the blocking positions in the village. The bazooka to catch any vehicles that break through. the medium machine gun firing across the open ground. 3rd Platoon headquarters in the fixing position to the north. The Stuarts supporting 2nd Platoon. And the half-tracks in reserve. And so we begin. Zuccotti's command Sherman is damaged, and a Panzer IV destroyed. The Sonderkofferzeug 251-16 flame half-track immobilized. Infantry moving east-west through the woods near the crossroads. Another Panzer to the south.
Feldwebel! Aussteigen!
The crew abandon the flame half-track. Kirk opens a mortar fire mission. A Panzer in the woods east of the crossroads takes a hit in the frontal armour, and a 105mm shell from behind. Kirk opens a blinding mortar smoke mission. First Platoon destroys 2 Panzer IVH in quick succession, east of the crossroads, and in the tree line east of 1st Platoon. The flame half-track crew have taken refuge in the wooden building, but there's no sign of them. First Platoon knocks out another tank, the Befehlspanzer 5G. The Germans have lost 4 Panzers and a Sonderkofferzeug. Eastwood cautiously moves his Sherman forward. The priest has taken German mortar fire. Waddell is a casualty. Peterson and the priest also orders a move. Eastwood secures the road to Dusberg. Sterling's Stuart tank is putting machine gun fire onto the tank crews to the southeast. Infantry, assaulting over the open ground. Within seconds, the infantry assault is eliminated by concentrated tank, mortar and machine gun fire. A Sturmgrenadier squad. A second Sturmgrenadier squad. Reed's medium machine gun team goes to ground. Peterson is still taking mortar fire and puts suppressing fire onto the wooden building.
Conserving ammunition!
Eastwood joins in. Eastwood's Sherman is bogged. On the road.
Unter Beschuss! Target neutralized!
Peterson's main gun is damaged, and he withdraws into the woods.
Schmeißt euch hin!
The German Panzers are smoking ruins, and their crews dead. The bodies of German infantry strewn over snowy fields.
In position!
Time for the counterattack. Let's send the Stuarts forward to scout the way. There may still be tanks and Panzerschrecks out there.
Target out of range! Team redeployed!
But no sign of any more Germans. Reed's medium machine gun team moves forward. Second platoon stands too.
In position!
Reed takes mortar fire.
Move completed!
A German mortar is active. A job for the Stuart tanks. First platoon eliminates a flamethrower squad.
In position!
German infantry in the woods come under crossfire. The mortar half-track. And a Panzer IV.
Target eliminated!
Sterling Stuart is knocked out. Move, now, out. First platoon counterattacks. Kirk opens a mortar counterfire mission on the German mortar. Sicotti's command Sherman has lost a track and remains in overwatch. German infantry in the woods to the north. Eastwood has line of fire.
Geht in Deckung!
German infantry neutralized.
Unter Beschuss! Team redeployed!
Panzerfaust attack. German infantry squad on the road. Panzer IV-H destroyed.
Sir, the enemy has offered
No ceasefires. Total American victory. The battle ended because the Germans' force morale got too low and they were forced to retreat off the map. The Americans gained control of the map and the German battle group was forced to disband. The Americans won the battle because they control a greater number of crucial victory locations than the Germans. The Americans lost 3 killed, 2 wounded, 1 tank destroyed, the Stuart, and 2 tanks damaged, both command Shermans. The Germans lost 22 killed, 21 wounded, 5 tanks destroyed, and 1 armoured vehicle captured, the Flame half-track. Let's examine the American squads. Trailer, the driver in Zuccotti's command Sherman, is killed. Spears is credited with 2 tank kills and awarded the Bronze Star. Sampson is credited with another and awarded the Combat Infantryman's Badge. Moon, in Van Dyke's Sherman, is credited with a tank kill and awarded the Bronze Star. Cockrell, in Reeves's Sherman, is credited with a tank kill and awarded the Combat Infantryman's Badge. Moylan and Waddell in Peterson's M7 Priest share credit for the Flame half-track kill, but both are seriously wounded. They receive their medals in hospital. Deadman and Cone in Sterling's Stuart tanker both killed by the shell from the Panzer IV-H. So far, the campaign remains a major American victory. The Grand Campaign has 11 days remaining. Your defence of the Ardennes is progressing better than your historical counterparts. The Americans have defeated the entire central front of the German offensive. They are creating their own Bulge, but into German lines. Over the campaign, cumulative American losses are 386 killed in action, 394 wounded in action, 49 tanks, 5 armoured vehicles, and 18 guns. Cumulative German losses are 989 killed in action, 946 wounded in action, 146 tanks, 143 armoured vehicles, and 1 anti-tank gun. So, what did we learn? Concentration of effects is a key tactical tenet. It applies in offence and in defence. Again and again, you will hear me say that anti-tank guns are the best defensive weapon against German panzers. And in battle after battle, this has proven true. But this company from the 10th Armoured at Weiler did not have any anti-tank guns. Instead, they met German panzers with concentrated tank fire. Each time a panzer emerged from the woods, it was destroyed in moments by the combined action of multiple tanks firing together. And the German infantry were cut down in seconds by concentrated machine gun fire. But concentrated effects are only a means to an end. So, what was that end? Doctrinally, the primary role of armoured forces on the defensive is the tactical offensive. Their usual employment will be in the counterattack. However, armoured forces may for short periods organise and occupy a defensive position. Even in the defence, tanks must always think and act offensively. Concentration of effects caused the Germans to lose, but it was the tactical offensive that caused the Americans to win. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. And stay tuned for the next episode.